At the Division of Child Support, we help support families. What happens to parents who can't pay their child support and start to get behind? Meet Raoul Masonet, a father that came to us for help.
It began with just the difficulty of being able to catch up to debt, and just being buried in debt, and just not knowing how to deal with it, because once a person is so far in, it's almost impossible to find relief on ever getting out. It makes a person depressed. So for me, it took me on a spiral of depression, which just continuously led me down the wrong path, into addictions, into trying to manage how horrible I felt, because I was not able to climb out of the hole I was in. So it was difficult for me. It was really, really hard. It was really hard.
When Raoul came to Alternative Solutions, he had just recently been released from incarceration. He was residing in an Oxford sober residential facility. His license was suspended. He had child support cases in multiple states with a debt that exceeded over $50,000 combined. He was receiving mental health treatment. He had little to no education and or work experience other than temporary agencies. So he was struggling on every level. He was disassociated from his children. He was divorced, obviously, so had no ongoing relationship at that point in time with his family either. So Raoul came into one of our community partnering agencies, Lower Columbia Community Action Program.
We had a young man, Raoul, that came into our agency. He had moved to this area, and he had been incarcerated and was just recently released and was here in Cowlitz County. And he came into the agency knowing it was a social service agency. When he came in, he was looking for housing. He was having trouble getting housing, and he found out that we had a financial coach that could sit down with citizens in the community and help them look at their credit reports. He had discovered that when he was trying to rent a house, that there were some things on his credit report that he wasn't aware of that were barring him from being successful in renting. And so one of our staff sat down with him and ran his credit report, and that's when we discovered that he had a very large child support obligation and money in arrears. And so starting to talk about that and what those obstacles were for him, Raoul was it was very important to him to provide for his child and provide support for his child. But at the time, as I said, he had just been in a situation where he was not financially secure. So we were able to send a referral to Alternative Solutions, who started working directly with Raoul. And of course, Raoul's story tells itself from that point.
I am so thankful that I was able to meet the people that I met. It made an enormous difference in my life. And I'm just seriously thankful. I didn't even know that people cared. I thought I gave up on that point. But the personal care that I've experienced working with Tina and the rest of the guys, it was seriously outstanding. It gave me hope. It gave my family hope, and it continued. That kind of attitude, that kind of personal touch, continued to push me and propel me going forward. And even though it seemed like it was an uphill climb for me, it was a pleasant one. And they took the sting out of this whole ordeal. And that right there made the difference for me. It gave me that push I needed. And when they began to work with my family, that right there really, really helped. It was really personal. It wasn't, that's how come I had to write them a letter. I had to tell them thank you. No one has ever gone gone the extra mile for me, you know. And that right there touched my heart so much that it made a difference in my life. It changed my life. They helped change my life, my family's life. It didn't just change my life, my family too. And that right there is priceless. You can't buy that.
Of the parents served by Alternative Solutions, more than 1 in 3 say they are homeless. More than a third have spent time in prison or jail. Nearly half are unemployed or underemployed. 30% need more training or school to get a job. 2/3 of parents looking for jobs find one while in the program.
Every child needs a parent in their life. We understand that. We also know that most parents in our community want to help their children and be a part of their families. But many parents struggle, and Alternative Solutions is there to help them, to remove their barriers and get them over the hump so that they can get back to work and support their families.
We do a great job with 66% of our cases. We know how to collect from people who have a job and have resources, but we were doing a disservice to those families whose non-custodial parents were poor. They didn't have jobs. They didn't have anything that we could collect, and our traditional methods of coercion and collection weren't going to work for people who might want to pay but were unable to pay. And I think this is a very exciting time. It's a real huge change for us. Now it's time to get the message out. If people are having trouble meeting their child support obligations, come to us and let us help connect you to those services so that you can do what you know you want to do, and that's support your child.
Strides, I have a steady job. I work as an administrative assistant for the Salvation Army in Battle Creek. I worked there as a volunteer for almost 2 years. Somebody cared enough that it made me care. Not just about me, but about others. That changes people. Love changes people. So, yeah, strides. This may not mean a lot to a lot of people, but I have a dog. I have 3 cats, I have a backyard, I have a snowblower, I have a car, I have a license. How do none of these things were available. The only thing that I had before, were the streets, my addiction, my selfishness, and my depression. I trade that any day for this now. My worst day today is amazing compared to how it was before. And I'm happy. What greater stride can you have than that?
The other thing I love is watching a parent come through the door, such as Raoul, who walked in with no hope. Couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel in any way, shape, or form at all. And where he is now, that's what I love about this job.
Raoul is not alone. 952 people have come through the Alternative Solutions program in just the last 3 years. Those parents have been referred to 2,131 different kinds of referrals to community-based organizations for help with housing assistance, basic needs, education, job searches, and more. For more information about Alternative Solutions, email alternativesolutions@dshs.wa.gov or call 360-664-5028.